Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast. And today is for 28-25. We are almost at the end of this month, which is the month of April.
That was absolutely flawless.
So
That was outstanding.
yeah.
Give yourself a round of applause for that one. That was incredible.
All right.
You know, people don't know there are some weeks that it takes you. I think we've counted 18 times to start. I'm kidding. But you just came out of the gate and nailed that one. That was great. Fantastic.
Another week of soccer. Football for the
soccer.
guys.
You put the ER at soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer.
That's staying too much of Americans.
Wow. Yeah.
You know.
Would you spend time in Minnesota? Jeez.
For
Soccer.
the other guys that call it football, it's potato, same thing.
Tomato. Yeah.
Yes. And we got the Champions League going on this week, so
Boy, do we.
definitely. And we had a great weekend of football, and we got Champions Crown, we got Copa del Rey winners, we got a lot of drama, a lot of politics.
Yeah.
That's the thrill of football.
Sometimes,
The
yeah.
good thing about football that I like is like, since it's not just one league, you get entertainment from everywhere.
Yeah, something's always going on,
Yeah.
whether it's a VAR issue in England,
Yeah,
whether
it's
it's Real Madrid complaining about referees in Spain,
I know, man.
whether it's, fixing games in Italy.
Yeah.
There's something
always
going on for
something
everyone.
going on.
Yeah.
And
We'll get to it, but I'm very curious about what your thoughts are about the landscape in Madrid right now. And we'll get there at some point, because there's no way that we're not going to be able to talk about what all's going on, but with not just the outcome of the cup final, but like just them as a whole.
yeah,
And
definitely.
where they go from here.
Julian Alvarez is set to well, not set, but Barcelona want him because they think he will be a good replacement for Lewandowski. And Hansi Flick also extended his contract for 12 months. It's crazy. I don't know why Hansi Flick, he likes to do the short first. I feel like, I don't know why he does that. I don't know if he thinks that if I overstay and it doesn't work like I'm thinking, better living out of the gate than living out of the window.
Maybe it's a way to just kind of like not have so much pressure. If you're a coach and you sign on for like 4 more years, it's like, I mean, if someone's signing, those contracts happen at the big clubs. So if somebody signs you for 4 years, they're expecting silverware at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have to.
Yeah.
Whether it be, if it's in England, like a Europa League, or even just like a Carabao Cup. Like if you're signing on for that long, so I think maybe he wants to keep those lower contracts so that it's kind of just, we're just having some fun.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, and I mean it works for him, whatever it is, because he's won every cup final that he's been in.
Yeah.
Something like that, something ridiculous.
That is
So,
true.
yeah, I mean,
And
but Julian Alvarez does sound like an okay replacement. He has
Yeah.
that sort of poacher style. He's got a great first touch. He's not the most consistent. He's not as consistent as Lewandowski, but he has time, and I think with the right system,
he
could do very well for them, for sure.
I wonder if Atletico Madrid would be willing to let him go too.
Yeah.
Because
Especially it being a league rival.
and it's true.
You're always more likely to give one of your star players to like out of league.
Out of league,
Like you can go to Napoli, that's fine. No harm, no foul. The chances of us meeting in the Champions League is pretty slim, but if it does, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, handing them over to Barcelona or Madrid or something, nah, probably not.
That's crazy. I know Madrid will agree with Ancelotti on an honorable exit.
Yeah.
He will be paid for the remaining of the year.
They're gonna give him a Viking burial.
2026.
They're gonna set his boat on fire in the ocean
and become a lifetime ambassador for the club.
Yeah.
The plan is for a post-match ceremony in the last La Liga game packed with details where the coach will pose with all his titles, which is what I like when I read the headline, because I thought they were just gonna sandwich him like they do.
For once they have class again. It seems like they've gone years without having class. Good for them finally.
At least I think also because of Ancelotti, to be honest, because the first time they sacked him, they just sandwich him. This is the second. I mean, he's a pillar of your club. His history, you get how many Champions League out of him? 2, 3.
Yeah.
You get how many cup? Like he is one of the most historical figure and football manager in the history of Madrid. So I like that they're doing that as a way of honoring him. He is worthy of that, and it's good that they're doing that. And on the contrast, he's gonna go to Brazil. He's gonna take that job. And
good for him. Sure, whatever.
I got this weird thinking. yeah, it's just hypothetically. So if he goes to Brazil, he wins the World Cup. Where do you ever place him in the Mount Rushmore of coaches?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it really does beg the question. I'm very interested to see who comes in to replace him. I know that Xabi Alonso is the big link, but I'm very interested to see how much of it was actually him, and how much of it is the lack of cohesion in the squad. Because I do not like that team. I do not like that club. I do not like them succeeding. But they do, and part of why I don't like them is because they're so successful, and that's totally fine to admit
That's
that.
true.
But
I mean, it's normal when you're too successful. At some point, you gotta have haters.
Yeah,
even me.
100%.
When it's like City. At some point, in the 2010, I was cool, underdog coming in.
Yeah,
but after
like, okay,
it becomes like,
stop it now,
on, man. We need someone else.
Stop growing.
But to that question, Bayer Leverkusen announced that the Xabi Alonso will be announcing his exit and going to Madrid. It's evident. It's evident. And but the great thing they're doing, I think he has some years left on his contract too. So, but they were like, if Madrid comes knocking, we just can't we
accept that you're leaving. Yeah, I mean, it just begs the question, like, once he's in there, does that mean that all of a sudden Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe finally figure out what they're doing together, that they're going to finally track back, that you're going to replace Modric, that Brahim Diaz is going to find good form, or you're going to let him go? Like,
that's a good question, but yeah, I think once he's there, the style of playing will change, because Ancelotti at the press conference last week said, if they expect me to contain players and tell them every single thing to do, micromanagement is not going to be me. I'm happy to go. I'm happy for them to fire me because I'm not going to do it. So in his mind, there was already that, and because and also unfortunately for the players, they don't have a leader, I guess, in a sense, or also they don't track back. They're lazy on all that. But you look at that with the fact that he don't want to be the micromanaged kind of guy, it's like, we're just gonna let him go. But Ancelotti will not let that slide.
Yeah, it's like you give the players responsibility for themselves by you taking the step back and saying, like, I'm not going to be all over you on the pitch. I can't control what you do, and I'm not going to bog you down with these crazy tactical plans and schemes. But, like, why do you not work harder? You should appreciate that. You should appreciate the fact that I'm letting you kind of run the way that you want to. Every single one of you is sort of being you're allowed to be more intuitive. Lazy. How do you not respect that and make the most out of it? For me, are they going to magically get more? Are they going to be more adaptable once Alonso comes in? Like, why would you sandbag Ancelotti like that? Don't you respect him? He's done a lot for you.
Yeah,
so I don't get it.
But that's true. Which I think, 50% is him, because for me, actually, I wanted Ancelotti gone last year.
Sure.
Because I wanted him to go through the big door. I could see this coming, because with a lot of ego, that's what happened to Madrid in 2005. With a lot of ego and star player, there's no need for me. There's a lot of entitlement. You think everything should be given to you because you're a big player, because you play at a big club. You complain a lot on the stadium. You close to the ref every time. You flop. You think all this because I am Madrid, I should have this. But
it's like children, man. Like there's a reason that you don't let children just run their lives, because you give them an inch, they take a mile. You think that because these guys are adults, they're well paid, they should understand the position that they're in and be thankful for. Thank God, like, honestly, that you're not micromanaging like Pep. Because that can drive you nuts. Like, I can understand somebody being more upset with that style of management than, go out there and have fun. Like, do what you do best. Like, that's the most freedom that you can have in the sport.
That's
true. And you don't make the most
true.
of it. You just you squander it.
That's true. Which I think is great too, because it depends. If you build a team, you can. No one is greater than the manager. Mourinho always made sure you understand that as a player. He will put you on the bench.
Sure.
But the thing is that Ancelotti, like a lot of players actually have said it, he's more like a dad. And I think the age too, and the fact that he's from the old school, he's not gonna do the micromanaging. He just want free football. But at the expense of that, when players like this are that young and don't yet have the mentality, although it's a winning mentality at Madrid, yes, but they have a lot more sense of entitlement. When you look at the old Madrid too, you had big players. You have the Ronaldo, the Ramos, but day in, day out, they will play because they thinking they want to get all the titles they can.
Yeah,
They are that level in their head, mentality they're there. But this, I think, Alonso coming in will restrict a lot of their movement, or at least they will have to. We're going to see. I mean, we see what he does with Leverkusen. They won't have to track, but they have a lot of potential. I'm actually excited to see what he can reveal with this team. But I also feel like some people might either go or he might sit down or just change the style of playing.
And I don't know how well it's going to go over because they're so used to, spending the weekend with dad. He doesn't care. And it's
that's another thing.
All he does is say, like, get that cigarette out of your mouth, kid.
Yeah.
Like,
plus you have the president is very, very involved.
Yeah.
More
than he should be.
Because the Mbappe move comes from the president. It's not coming from Ancelotti, in a sense, because that's a move that had to be that was supposed to happen in 2 or 3 years. He's still thinking, or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, he's still thinking we need that guy.
And he still had no problem having him come on in the second half during the Copa final. Like, he's like, no, like if we can't figure out exactly how the fuck to get all three of you out here at the same time, we doesn't mean that.
You know. So if you have any news, we can just go to talking about the Madrid game because it was very interesting.
Salah resigned.
Yeah, Salah resigned and he won the league with Liverpool.
Yeah.
And
fuckers.
I wonder where in summer we probably have this one. This will probably be one of our discussion. Where do we play Salah?
Sure.
And as a foreign player in the Premier League, Thierry Henry is usually up there.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you play Salah now?
Yeah, we'll have to,
because goal contribution actually Salah has over. I think he surpassed him now. Now, where do you play Salah as a Premier League player? Because he's in, I think, top 5 now with Ali Shearer and all these guys. So the conversation, how does Salah compare to other greats in the league?
Yeah,
is it
and maybe we'll give our top 5 Premier League forwards.
Yeah.
Like wingers and strikers included, just everybody that's in that attacking build-up.
But I don't think the English will ever give him those kind of flowers because they will value trying to always promote their own play, like the English players. They're not like other leagues.
And I think La Liga does the same thing though.
True, but that's not like Ronaldo. They'll praise him.
Yeah,
sure. Messi. They know Spanish.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
I mean, talking about when you look in Spain, the father of the new age of football by Barcelona, it's the Dutch guy. I keep forgetting his name. That's him. They praise him for that.
Yeah.
But the English league, they don't praise you.
Yeah.
If you're not English.
The French league does that a lot too, though.
The French league is what it is.
I don't think it's a bad thing either. I think that once you start like denying the obvious truths, it becomes a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But I think that every domestic league should, in theory, want to prioritize their domestic players. It's good promotion. It makes sense for you.
That's true.
There's national pride in your national squads. There should be a little bit in the domestic leagues.
No, it's always that.
But you can't deny the truths. That's the issue.
That's the thing with the English league, though. It's like most of the time you're never good enough, even if you do the obvious. You know? So that's another thing. That's it. We had Copa del Rey, which we just talked about.
Good match.
Good match. Just dotting the i's, I guess.
Crossing the T's. No. What do you think about the quality of the match? That was a fun match to watch.
That was a fun match to watch.
That second half, especially. If we
could take away the complaints every now and then, it was really good. I mean, when we talk about Clásico, man, to me, there's not a better game in football. Yeah. The only game that can top that for me, I think. Even the Champions League final, it depends because if I'm having I guess underdog would pop, but if I'm having like a Paris Saint-Germain Liverpool, it's great, but Madrid Barcelona.
Yeah, well, and even last year's Madrid and Dortmund, you're like for the final, you're like, the Clásico is actually a more entertaining and enthusiastic matchup.
Because there's too much. The thing I like about it is the drama that comes with it.
Yeah,
I like when drama is there to actually entertain the viewers.
Yeah.
And also we look at the beauty of the sport in that process. Not just drama, that's just drama.
I think it was a perfect example of what I think people associate with the Spanish and Italian leagues of the referee drama, the players getting a little too close. Because I always get kind of taken aback when the Spanish players are allowed to just crowd the referee.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do that in the Premier League anymore. And in the Champions League, they've cracked down on that as well. But like, as soon as, like Bellingham, Vasquez,
that was a bad move.
Vinny, like they're all just like running at the referee. And I'm not even talking about the very end.
Yeah.
I'm talking about some of those penalty calls where they get up in his face and like almost bump him.
Yeah.
And then Modric has to like cast them all away because he's the captain and he goes to talk to him. But like, they get away with a lot of stuff, man.
You know what? It's interesting. One side of me think we have to the league has to crack down on that, meaning you have to respect the referee. But another side of me kind of likes it because it's thrilling. It makes you the viewer stay in that. It's like movies, like what's happening next, because if it's just like, okay, the ref gave it the foul and you're like, oh yeah, it's like, it's cool, but we're just gonna accept that, no challenge, whatever, that's just how I think. But I'm not in favor of putting hands on the referees, or going to like blatantly just shout at them. I think you should be banned for a couple of days or red carded. They're vast. Like everyone that got a red card basically deserved the red card. Yes.
I think that some people, because they've all sort of adopted the traits of Vinicius Jr.
That's true.
And
I think it's the high sense of entitlement.
Yes, I don't like him as a person.
Vinicius, he complains too much. He flops.
And he just has an attitude with every single person that he encounters.
That's true.
I don't like it.
I can see that.
And you know who is actually surprising me about how childish they can be? Jude Bellingham.
But he's a kid.
Yeah, true. But he tries to carry himself as like the older captain.
Yeah.
He was well spoken when he first got there.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden he's becoming one of the ringleaders in terms of he gets mouthy with everybody else. He gets in referees' faces. He's always whining. He always has that sort of childish, like I want to get my way face going on him. Yeah. And so you start to like, I can count on one hand the players that are not that way. Modric is not that way.
But I feel like
Valverde is not that way. You never see Valverde in that situation.
But that's true. For Modric, I think it's just age.
Sure.
And plus, also, I don't think he has the energy to be going.
Exactly.
Like, he's like, bro, I'm leaving.
And partly it's because he's the captain.
Yes, that's true.
He understands that.
That's true. But also, even holding the players, I think they need someone that has more vigor as a captain.
Yeah.
Like a Ramos type. But although Ramos type also comes with his own issues because he might slap the ref on the bad day.
Yeah. He might not be the one that's like that's
But when he was captain, you knew what time you were on because he might slap you as your teammate. Like,
exactly.
What the hell are you doing? You're not tracking back.
The young players with the attitudes remind me of like hyenas.
Yes.
They all just kind of get together and start yapping at you. But Ramos wouldn't have been in that pack of people, but he'd be the one body slamming everybody like, in the run of play.
I thought Rudiger would be a good one to do that, but I don't think.
Right.
I don't think.
Where did that shit come from, man? That was wild. Throwing stuff and like he breaks the ice pack.
But
and
to
he
be
has
honest, I
the
think
stupid
he
face.
Be the perfect captain if they give him the responsibility of having the group together. But I don't think they will give him that just because one, he's not been in Madrid for long, and I've never seen someone like him being captain. So Valverde is good, but he's too. How will I say? He's too docile. He's not. You need someone that will get on you.
Yeah, his style of play, what he does for the team, his attitude, like that all makes him a good captain. Yeah. But he doesn't. I agree with you.
He don't have that attitude that requires. That
and he doesn't. And not everybody needs it. But he's that. He's the locker room leader. I think. Yeah. He doesn't wear the armband. He doesn't. Guide you with words. But there's no way that you can watch him play 5 different roles. Yeah. Do 5 different things and not complain and not respect him.
And my guy, Lamine Yamal, is just amazing.
He's unbelievable.
That kid has a lot of potential.
Pedri, too. Pedri's found some really good form, man. He is wild.
And Pedri has officially kicked off his Ballon d'Or campaign. He was like, hey, if you guys not going to do it, I'm going to be my own PR. So he posted and he said,
what a shot, dude.
Yeah. He posted something on Instagram or somewhere, and he was saying that he's seen his dream is to be a captain, and there's a lot of proof that as a midfielder you can be it's going to be a Ballon d'Or winner. Yeah. So I like that he's doing that for him.
Well, and with Messi and Ronaldo kind of fading to the back because it was time. It had been such a back and forth between them. We might end up in a situation where. Yeah, more midfielders are like the game itself is kind of opening up a little bit more.
But do you not see it as a way of like things have been or are kind of I guess we can say restructuring in a sense, because we had Messi and Ronaldo, right? The world of football also wants to keep that rivalry. There's a lot of PR on both teams.
Yeah.
I think some years they won individually, both of them. There were some years that I thought it wasn't gonna be Messi, but Messi won it. There were some years because the PR is greater than anything. Although they play well that year, but I think some player played best.
Sure. It's kind of like oil.
Yeah.
Like just there's so much money to be made, and we've made so much money in the past that we can't restructure yet.
Yes.
Because we still have to bleed this thing dry.
It's kind of like the WWE with John Cena. And I feel like John Cena wants to leave, but
there's still too much money on the table. Like you can't go yet.
You just gotta come back.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. There were probably some years where neither one of them were playing at that exact level, but there's so much money just by mentioning their name that
that's true.
Casual
that
people come back in.
Yeah, and that comes with the argument. It means more argument, more people interested in the sport.
And I think that what that did also was that not only was it just Messi and Ronaldo that were more strong-armed in that position, but it was forward players.
That's true. That's true.
And that's kind of what I'm saying is like now that they're gone, I think the game can kind of open up a little bit more where like chance creators, innovative players, it's more so about what they contribute, not how many goals they score.
Even a defender like Virgil van Dijk in that 2019 run.
Yeah.
Like I think right now, if someone has that run as a defender right now, I think you'll be in the discussion and you'll be probably highly praised even in the media. Your name will be in there, even on social media, because things have a little bit with the fact that Messi, Ronaldo, they're taking it, they're older now, so things can be more, I don't want to say merit basis, but open to other player playing different area of the field. So
yeah, I agree.
That's definitely. And Liverpool won again.
Yeah.
Well, when I say again, it's not like they won last year, but they won in 2019 and they won back.
They're clearly the best team in England. So.
But first of all, congratulations, Ansel. But I think that towards his last games, the failure to rotate kind of got him. Yeah.
And he made no signings in the summer and in January. So like I get that he wanted to sort of adapt and get the best out of the players that he currently had. I think it's almost a statement within itself to attempt to do that. There's a confidence in it, bordering on arrogance if it doesn't work out for you. But that's kind of what confidence and arrogance does. Like if it doesn't work out for you, you're just arrogant. If it does, you're confident. Good for you. Like
I mean, you just said something very interesting because Hansi Flick, right? Apparently he micromanages everything. I think it's Hansi Flick or Ansel? No, Hansi Flick. I read somewhere that he makes sure the eggs that they eat are great, at like organic and everything, and everyone on the comments are praising him. It's like but someone said something you just said, and he was like, I think it's just bias, because if he does that, it works. He's a genius. But if he does that and it doesn't work, what the hell is he doing? Micromanaging?
Well, when you know the perfect example of the opposite is Enzo Maresca. At Chelsea, him wanting to, I don't care what, if the play is open for you, you do this, you do what I say. And it's like, that works if you're winning.
That's true.
But you're not winning, so you need to be able to adapt. And who was it? I think someone kind of went out and said that in the Chelsea squad, that basically Enzo Maresca himself said it also, I don't care what the opportunity is. I don't care if you're, looking at this. Like, you don't take the chances that I say that you can't take.
Yeah.
And if you do, I'm going to bench you. It's like, so you could almost bench a goal scorer because they ran against your tactic and it worked. It's like, no, you should be able to adapt to that. So if what Slot was doing and what Flick was doing wasn't working and they were refusing to adapt to it,
and everybody was going to say, well, nah, it's not working. But
as long as it works, you can do. As long as it works, you can essentially do anything that you want. If that is micromanaging everyone to death, if that is virtually doing nothing, and letting them do whatever they want, if all of a sudden the Liverpool squad kind of came out and said, hey, our secret this season with Slot was that we got to party 3 nights a week after training. We just got to get absolutely blitzed. We trained hungover, but the tactics worked, and here we are. They'd be like, all right, cool. So when do Chelsea's gonna be like? So can we start drinking now? Like, what's the deal? Like, it's if it works and it's even like a detriment to what the modern style of play or training is, you're gonna do it.
That's true. Well, that's the irony of things. That Liverpool Tottenham though, it was a great game, man.
Smashing.
Tottenham started off strong.
Yeah.
But Liverpool had the better of them. That guy Maka, what's that? How do you pronounce that? MCCA, Maka.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got him for 35 million. I think they got him from Brighton or something like that.
I don't remember exactly.
But I'm just saying that guy, he's just amazing as a player. And Liverpool is in they had him for a good bargain. Another thing, I feel like right now Liverpool and the Liverpool of next year, apart from certain adjustments, they have the confidence right now to get in the game next year for another season run.
Yeah.
Because unless City fixes their issue, I see them going again strong. The only thing they just gotta fix, have certain players for certain position to be highly competitive. Also, Anslo has to start rotating the squad. A player can't just be playing now. I think that's what brought the downfall, because you started feeling team fatigue. You can see them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that's like the starting 11, like your core group of players. You don't need any additions.
Yeah. Like
your starting 11 can essentially just carry over who I'm seeing on the field right here. Diaz, Szoboszlai, Salah, McAllister, Gravenberch, Van Dijk, Kanate. Trent's gone. And realistically, Robertson needs to be replaced. But you need your fullbacks replaced.
Yeah.
Chiesa probably just needs to go ahead and move on. It's no one's fault that it didn't work.
Yeah.
He showed that he has great opportunities to be a solid player. But Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Diego Jota, those are all great rotation guys. Kwanzaa probably out. It's like none of your real starters outside of your fullbacks need urgent replacing. You just need to get a little bit more depth on the bench.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be bringing in anybody, I think at least, to even be actively attempting to take the starting 11.
Yes.
You just need to fill some guys in. And usually those guys come relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
So I don't see them needing to really make a massive signing. They need to make several small signings just to pad the squad out, because everybody, like I said, everybody that got the bulk of minutes this season are more than able to do next season.
Yeah, they just gotta replace Alexander and all, because he's definitely going to Madrid. Right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You got to think it's in the 90s percentile.
Yeah,
truly.
So apart from that, and get some defense or left back, but I see them strongly being contender for next year, especially how they playing and onslaught football work. The only thing that I say, you just gotta start rotating more. And in this day and age of football, you playing too many games. The players themselves are playing outside of the club. When they go to the counters, they still play a lot of games. So on average, these guys play
the Club World Cup in the summer too, just taking up those few weeks that you had off. Not anymore, motherfucker.
So that's another thing that I get, that players get paid a lot when you are you have this caliber of name and anything, you're like a star, and people are like, well, you should be able to play that. You get paid a lot. If for that amount of money, I'll play every single day. I'm not saying no, but playing, that's physically. So you're getting overworked every single day. At some point, some people that give up. I mean,
there's a limit to what you can do physically. Now these guys have a higher limit than the average person does, but they're playing an absurd amount of games, and there is a legitimate price to pay for being this good.
Yes,
and Rodri said that as well. The players that don't run themselves into the ground are the ones that are not having to play at the highest level. You would think that the higher level that you play, the more that they want to rest you, that you'd be able to rest. You're like a racehorse that way. But no, like the more success that you have, the more that they're stuffing you into these competitions, these cup just BS nonsense tournaments that are kind of inconsequential to what you want, just because there's more money to get out of you.
That's true. That is true. Well, this just real quick. The Champions League this week is gonna be an absolutely blast. We are in the semi-final. Things are getting real.
There are no bad matchups in the semifinals.
No, there's not. And it's going to be very, very interesting. But I have a question. The weakness of each team, where do you think each team might have to pay the price if they are not careful depending on their weakness? Let it take in mind that Merino and White for Arsenal, they missed the Palace game, Crystal Palace, due to being a non-match fit. We don't know their availability. Partey is suspended for acquiring too many yellow cards.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Jorginho is expected to miss that game because of rib injuries. Gabriel is out for the season.
Yeah.
Calafiori is absent after picking up a knee injury. Havertz is he's making good progress on recovery.
He won't be back in.
Jesus is in recovery following surgery.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu
has
we can a little
he's
bit
barely played this whole season.
Yes, but that's a lot for us.
Yeah.
How do you
so I think that both teams' weaknesses currently are PSG is conceding goals at the back, but they look good in the midfield build up, especially. And Arsenal are having trouble consistently scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I think this is a match for the midfield. I think it's all dictated by the midfield.
Declan Rice might have to play 8, so Odegaard might have to play 6.
So
that's not good.
Oh yeah, no, and they've shown that I think Partey is possibly their most underrated player for this season. Whenever he is able to play the 6, he covers a lot of ground. He did not work at right back, but that's not his job. That's not where his assets lie. I do maybe one of the fullbacks that are fit. Maybe he has to come in and kind of play a bit more of a 6.
Yeah.
You might actually benefit from. Maybe he's not as defensively tight as Partey, but he has a little bit more athleticism. I'm thinking maybe if Yuri and Timber can maybe slide in, or like Ben White, who is usually a center back, who's a center back at Brighton, can he possibly cover a little bit more of the defensive slack in that back end of the midfield? You might have to get a little bit more creative if Jorginho and Partey are out for that period of time.
Oh, okay.
It's not ideal, but you listed all these injuries, and once your depth chart gets that shallow, you start seeing those kinds of things. You start all of the things that are like, oh, well, that's not his position. That makes no sense. It's like, well, that's all we fucking have right now. So you start getting to that point.
That's true. That's true. I think Saka and Martinelli would be very, very prominent for these games.
Saka in particular,
yeah. Because what you want to do on those counter attack, you want to make sure you convert as much any opportunity you get, because their defense and they don't have a good defense, but you also want to make sure you defend well, because where Paris Saint-Germain will try to get it, they have proven it. I've watched some of their games, but most of their games actually in the league and in the Champions League, it's been so fast. By the time you actually try to recover, they have probably already scored.
Yeah.
But they're also showing sign of fatigue. That they lost the game against Nice.
Yeah.
So they also have fatigue. So I think it's also failure to rotate.
Yeah.
So
their fullbacks are full of athleticism and pace, and you have Hakimi and Nunez, respectively. But as soon as if Bukayo Saka can consistently get in behind Nunez, who's not the best in defense, then all of a sudden you have an aged Marquinhos and a Pacho that's just shown that he has a mistake or two in him, and maybe not the most athletic guy in the world. I think that if Saka and Martinelli can sort of apply pressure through the wings and get in behind the two center backs, the chances are there. I think that Odegaard really needs to be able to hold the ball and find creative ways to thread the ball through while they're trying to get in behind. And I think that they're more likely, I think, to score goals than PSG are to remedy their
I think so
their
too.
defensive issues.
The only scary part I am concerned, and that depends on Arteta, how he want to do his defensive, how he want to defend. The good thing is that because Bakola, Doué, these guys are scoring a lot. It don't matter if it's in Champions League or out of the Champions League. They also are proving to be very efficient. So if you can neutralize those guys, and don't forget that Paris Saint-Germain, 90% of that team is mostly attacking. They don't.
Yeah.
They defend, but they're not defensive oriented. Even their left back are more. It's more like a Machilo kind of situation.
Yeah.
So they are very precise.
Yeah.
Scoring too. So.
And I'm confident in Yuri and Timber to be able to remedy that that left wing, which I think Barcola has been the one that's been prioritized in that role. Because I mean, if you can pocket somebody like Vinicius Jr., who I think is overrated. But I mean, you're talking about people saying that he's the best player in the world. I just don't believe he's the best player in the world. Period.
Who will be the best player in the world for you right now?
Is it stupid to say Yamal? Is it crazy to say Yamal?
No, actually, Yamal will be the best guy right now.
You just don't want to give that to a 17-year-old because it's like you feel like he hasn't earned it yet. But at the end of the day, he has.
Right now he is.
Yeah.
But if you had to take on 3 years,
if
you had to take during your last 3 years, what will it be? That's why you have Vinicius. No matter how you twist this, you win the Champions League. The last 2 years he's been great. I think it's just a lot of people like, yes, he's overrated, but the work output he put in the last 2 years, there's no other.
I genuinely think that the best player in the last 3 years has been
Rodri,
Valverde.
No, Valverde wasn't even good 2 years ago.
Yes, he was. Okay.
He just started last year.
Oh no.
No,
you
think so?
He's been in his best form this last year, but he's always been that
because who wins the Champions League for them in 2021? That's Rodrigo and Vinicius. Who wins it for them the next year? That's Vinicius.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
On a European, I just don't see anybody in the last 3 years. Rodrigo could be a good argument because he's played a lot, and last year he was phenomenal. But that's on a year.
Yeah.
Right now, Yamal. And if it's not Yamal,
sure.
it's Rafinha. Because Rafinha has 58 contribution.
Yeah.
Overall, that's goal
and Salah still has to be up there as well.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's another thing. If you had to do a Ballon d'Or runner-up, why wouldn't you put Salah top 3? Is it the failure of Champions League? I think that will play in his disadvantage. But if Barcelona doesn't win the Champions League, where is Salah?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's that. I think Salah should be up there, but I know some people would disagree. Inter too is suffering from the same thing, fatigue. They have lost against Roma. They have lost against. They lost against Roma, which wasn't really expected, especially that they're doing really good right now.
No one's talking about how close Napoli and Inter are for that.
I just looked at it actually this last weekend, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even realize.
Tied on points, and now Napoli are one up above them, man. So it's going to come down to the wire for that one, which is nice. You want at least one of the big leagues to be decided on the final day, and this could very well be the one.
I like that. Roma also might be it might be a big team next year to watch out for. They haven't lost the past 18 games, so it's a pretty interesting. And I think Inter Barcelona will be very, very interesting too, because Barcelona on the left flank, they are not as creative as they are on the other, because most of their goals come from Yamal's side, which is the right flank. If Inter can capitalize on that, then they will be in a good situation. But the thing with Barcelona is they have so many assets. It can come from anywhere, either a drop pass, a run inward. Just there's so many. They have so many tricks. As long as Inter defend, they probably will be running to the same situation. And Barca also press. That's one thing that's good. When I see Barcelona playing, I don't really see a team that's thinking about the end goal of the trophy.
Yeah.
It's more, for them. I think that's also why they win a lot, because it's more fun for them.
I was gonna say,
it's like pickup game for them. Mm-hmm. You are trying to win. They're just trying to have fun and score.
I'm just playing with my friends, man.
So that's why at some point when you watch them, it even looks like they're free. I don't feel like they micromanage and Pep like to manage, because they do what they want. At some point when they dominate the game, it becomes a little bit champagne football, So whatever. We're just gonna watch out for the Champions League. I won't stress this enough. Go subscribe. Another round of applause for the show.
I appreciate that. Thank you, buddy.
Go subscribe. Spotify,
star review,
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. turn on your bell notification. I don't know what you tell you guys, man. Just do it.
quit being
for
fucking idiots. Sorry.
Just do
Sorry,
it.
everyone.
Just do it.
Nike.
Yeah, definitely. Well, see you guys next week.
Goodbye.